So, namaste. Welcome to the group. Today's topic is depression and how do you create depression and how to deal with it. Basically, we'll be touching on what is depression, how do we create it, and how to get out of it. So, these are the basic points that we'll be touching on this subject. And so, let me start with the basic first. The basic being about the spirituality. What is spirituality? Spirituality is made of two words, as you know, spirit and personality. So the entire knowledge about us as a spirit, as a personality, all the knowledge about us, only about us, comes under spirituality. So the spirituality is entire knowledge about the universe, about us, and about the God figure that we always take the name God. The knowledge about all that is covered under the spirituality. Now it says that there is one energy in the entire creation. That one energy is neither created. Now, as you know, energy cannot be created or destroyed, so it just exists. So that is why we say that God is not born or it cannot die. It just exists. So the energy just exists and it's everywhere. And within that energy, everything else exists. So basically, if you see anything in this universe or outside this universe, and even us, plants, animals, stones, mountains, trees, whatever that you see in the creation, everything has that energy. It is that energy which has created everything that you can see and perceive. And that energy, if you see, now what is an energy? Energy is vibrations. And vibrations are at a different level. So vibration means frequency. So everything is vibrating at a different frequency. As a result, everything is manifesting in a different form and figure. And everything is different from each other. Even as a human beings, we are all different from each other because we all vibrationally, our frequencies are different. Each and every organ, each and every body of ours is vibrating at a different frequency from each other. Now, we are the spirit, we are not the body or the mind. But we are that spirit that makes that body and the mind and all of our 5 bodies work. Now how do we can prove that? Because at the time of death, what happens? As soon as the spirit leaves the body stops working. So it is that spirit, that energy that makes the body work. Similarly, in the mind, if you see at the time of coma, the mind is not working, yet you are not declared dead. You are still alive. You are still there. So it is not the mind, it is not, and even at the time of meditation and deep sleep also. So if you see, you are not the mind, you are not the body. So you are that spirit, that energy that is making this spirit, this body, this mind and the body work. So we have 5 bodies that we use in this universe to have a humanly experience. And these 5 bodies are, first body is the physical body that is made of food. The more food we eat, the bigger your body gets. So that's the first body. Second body is the emotional body or the breath body, prana that we also call it. Now this body, again, everybody is breathing and all your emotions are also connected to your breath. If you look at it, when you're very angry, your breath is very fast. And when you're very quiet and peaceful, your breath is also very shallow, slow and shallow. Similarly, so this is the second body. Third body is the mind, mental body, which everybody has a mind, where all your thoughts are coming up constantly, one thought after the other. Fourth body is the intellect body, full of memories, fears, phobias, experiences, past experiences. Everything is stored there. Okay? Belief systems, everything is stored in that body. And then fifth body, of course, is the spiritual body, which is Anandamaya Kosh, which is that blissful body, and it is also your voice of consciousness, which is always guiding us in the right direction. If we start listening to it, if we stop the chatter of our mind and start listening to that voice, we can be guided in the right direction, because that is the voice of our own soul, of God, or the higher self consciousness. Now, the spirit or the energy that I'm called is also synonymous with other words like consciousness, soul. Everybody calls it with a different name, but they all mean the same thing. Now, let us see the topic being depression. Now, what is depression? Depression is made of also two words: depress impressions. Now, depress impressions, what does this indicate? Impressions are, as I just told you, are in the intellect body, right? That means all your memories, all your belief systems, fears, phobias, everything that is stored in your mind, in your intellect body, they are those impressions, psychic impressions that have been created in your intellect body, that are stored in your body. So where are these depressed impressions happening or are being stored? In the intellect body. So everything is happening in one of your bodies. It is not who you are. Now understand, none of these 5 bodies will work without your energy. So you are separate from those 5 bodies. You are not that intellect body, or you're not the mind. You are that energy that makes this mind works and which makes this intellect body function. Now let's start with the depression. As I said, what happens is, in the intellect body is all your memories, your past experiences, impressions, negative impressions, positive impressions, all of them are stored. So as a result, those impressions, what happens then, goes into your mind. That creates different emotions, feelings, behavioral patterns, and that creates actions, karma, which again creates new impressions, and then new same thoughts get stored. So this is a cycle. That's what's happening. So now, thoughts. Let's analyze the thoughts. Now, the thoughts that are stored in your mind, when were they? When did they happen? That's all past. Is it at present? What is this? Depression is a suffering that we are going through. Everybody is suffering through the depression. And suffering is why? Because we refuse to live at present. We are living in the past or in the future. The thoughts that are stored in your mind, in your intellect body, are the past, thoughts of the past, experiences that have already passed away. But what's happening? We are bringing those thoughts in our mind, in our intellect body, going down to the mind, recreating those emotions, reliving the same situation that happened, and then creating new impressions out of it, creating new karmas, and then re-registering the same thought again and again, creating new layers of the same impression. That's what we are doing continuously. But past is for, what is the past? Past is very valuable. Past is for your experiences, or for your growth, for your learning experiences. That is something that you learn from and you grow as a result. But we are tormenting ourselves with the negative impressions that we have created or that might have happened to us. And what is the future? Future is again our imagination. It is not the reality. The reality is at present. We can imagine negative or positive future, but that is not again a reality. The reality is now, at present. And what are we doing? We are ruining our at present moment by either being in the past or in the future. Now, why is this depression happening? Now, what are the symptoms first? Why is this depression happening? Depression is happening because could be that there is some kind of a bad negative experience that you went through that got registered in your mind, that is coming up again and again. Or could be some kind of an abuse or the loss of a loved one. It could be anything. It could be somebody said something which really hurt you. So all these things that get registered in our mind, that leave a big impression in our mind, those are the thoughts that come to torment us. So reliving those thoughts again and again are going to create depression in our mind. Some of the symptoms of depression, as you know, are loss of interest, lack of interest in the life itself, lack of pleasure, no pleasure, you don't feel like doing anything. Loss of appetite, loss of sleep, crying, emotional outbursts, behavioral change. All these are the symptoms of the depression. And as I said, this could be temporary because of a loss of a loved one, or it could be something which is because of an abuse while in the childhood. That thought and the impressions are still coming up to torment you. So the impressions could be, these thoughts could be from anywhere, but they are all again the past. They are not the present, they are not the reality. So whenever we start thinking again and again, how do we create this depression now? What happens? We are thinking of a past abuse or a past negative happening or impression or a past psychic experience that we went through. Now, whenever we think about it again and again, we are creating a new layer of the same impression and same thought in our mind. So whereas there was once that experience was registered, now there's another layer that has been registered by rethinking about it. And not only you rethink, when you think of the same thought, you're going to create the same emotions that are related to it. So at that time, if you felt very angry or fearful, you're going to feel the same emotions coming up, same feelings of sadness, maybe guilt, maybe crying, same kind of feelings will come up. And as a result, behavior, the same behavioral patterns come. You don't feel like sleeping, you feel like crying, you're going to feel dejected, lonely. So the behavioral pattern comes up again similarly, and then it becomes a habit. The same being repeated again and again, the behavior becomes a habit. And habit creates actions. Every time we are recreating that same thought in our mind, we are creating a new action and a new karma. A layer of new karma has been created in our mind. And that karma again, that new layer now is going to again bring up the same thoughts whenever we are sitting idle or when we are feeling low. So this is the cycle that happens over and over again. Now we have to understand this cycle and we have to break the cycle. It's important because this is how we are recreating the depression in our mind, because life is not all about rosy, it's not all about good. It is also about bad. And why is the bad important? Why is the negative important? Because that's when we are challenged. And that's how we grow. It is very important for our growth to go through the suffering, to overcome those challenges, to become strong as a person, mentally, emotionally, and not only to overcome those and to learn a lesson. There is always a lesson behind every suffering that comes in our life. And with the suffering comes the growth. And for our spiritual growth, for our physical and emotional and mental growth, suffering is very important. So we cannot say, okay, don't give me any suffering. Because if there are no challenges, you will never grow. You will just be at the same place. So you need to have those challenges to grow. So suffering is important. But to live in that suffering and spoil your present moment is what is creating depression in your mind. But understand, everything's again happening only in your mind. And you're not the mind. You are the soul, the spirit, the energy that is making this mind work. Without your energy, without you being there, none of these 5 bodies can work on their own. What is your nature now? Let us understand what is our, who are we? Now, if you understand also how we create, as I said, when we have a thought, a negative thought coming up from the intellect body, from our past memories, what happens? It goes into our mind, and then a confusion is created, right? And your focus is lost, and you don't know what is happening. No creativity happens because the mind is now all boggled up. And then it goes into our emotions, emotional body, the second body. And what happens there? Again, anger comes up, fear comes up, all the emotions that were attached to it comes up. And then that will go down again to a behavioral pattern of maybe overeating, maybe going to sleep, maybe crying, maybe shouting, whatever the pattern is, that will come up. And then it goes into the physical body, and the physical body comes up in the form of a disease. As we adjust the energy, the disturbance in the vibrational patterns creates the dis-ease of the disease. Is nothing but a dis-ease of the vibrational, the energy patterns in our body. And that is happening. It always starts at the level of our intellect body, our memories. And that is where we have to stop them. We don't need to bring up this whole chain down to the physical body. It takes at least 4 months for any disease to come down to the physical body. So if you start right now reliving in the past or creating a negative impression again and again in your mind, it will take 4 months from intellect body to mind to emotional body down to your physical body, 4 months to create a disease in one of your organs. So you have time to reverse it and to stop it. Now, how do we do that? Let's see how to heal, or you can say how to get rid of this depression. Now, we understood how we created this depression. It is all our mind's play. Now, how do we get rid of depression? So, as you understand, first point is, now there are 3 aspects to that. First aspect is know thyself. First, you have to understand who you are. Second aspect is practices that I'm going to tell you about. And third aspect is the service. 3 points that we are going to discuss upon. Now, first, know thyself. Who are we? As I said, we are the soul, the spirit that makes all these 5 bodies work. We are not the body, we are not the mind. We are not the intellect body, we are not the emotional body, and we are definitely not the physical body. So, we are the, as I said, we are the spirit or the soul. And what is the nature of our spirit? The nature of our spirit is Sat Chit Anand. That is our nature. Sat being the truth about ourselves as being spirit rather than this body and mind. Chit is the knowledge, awareness. We are full of awareness, knowledge, which is blocked by our own mind and intellect body's impressions. Because As I said, when the negative thoughts come up, they go into the mind and create a big confusion. Focus is lost. Creativity is lost. Awareness is lost. So it is getting blocked by our own thoughts. And then Satchit and Anand. Anand is the bliss, peace, love, light. That is our nature. And if you can go beyond these 4 bodies, in the 5th body, in your spiritual body, you can experience all that in the form of light, love, peace, and bliss within yourself. Because that's how where your soul is attached to your body. So basically, we have to understand that we are not this mind and the body where all this play is happening. We are separate. We are not the ones who are getting affected by, even though, and why are we getting affected by, because even if it's happening, why do we perceive ourselves as this body and mind is because of our ego. And what is an ego? Ego is when the spirit itself thinks that this is, I am that form. When it attaches itself to the different forms, different gender, race, figure, form. I'm a doctor, I'm this, my name is this. All this is ego aspects. When the soul or a spirit, not understanding that I'm just an energy and full of consciousness, full of awareness, knowledge, and full of bliss, happiness, which is within myself. I don't have to seek outside. I am that. Just have to remove the layers of ignorance and the layers of negativity from my mind to experience that. Then I won't be, if I understand and start knowing myself as the spirit and the soul, consciousness, then I won't be getting affected by whatever is happening in our mind. And I will perceive it as something that is happening as a play that's going on, and as experiences. Now understand, experiences, whatever that comes in our life, there are no failures, there are no mistakes. Everything is just an experience. There is neither a failure nor a success. Everything is an experience to grow from and to learn from. So if we start looking at the life in that manner, then we will be doing a lot of learning and a lot of growing will happen. But we get so engrossed in the nitty-gritty of the experiences that happen that we forget, or we can't even see what is the learning. What is that experience trying to teach me, and how it has made me stronger mentally, emotionally, and physically. How I have grown spiritually also by overcoming that if it was jealousy, or if it was anger, or if it was lust or greed, I have overcome that, and I have become a much more purer and have risen my vibrational frequency as a result. And that is the aim of basically our coming into the body, to raise our frequency, to get rid of all the negativities that we have acquired in so many lives, or even in just this life. So basically that's our nature, Satchit Anand. So first is to know and understand that this is all one energy. We are a part of that energy. That energy is full of bliss and knowledge and love and peace, and so are we. We are not this negativity that we perceive ourselves to be. So this is the first part. Secondly, if we start doing some practices. So let's start with the intellect body, or let's start with the intellect body. Now, if in the intellect body where all your thoughts are coming up, now if we are not the intellect body, that means we are somebody who's observing the intellect body. We are something separate, right? So if you have to observe something, you have to be separate from that thing. There has to be two things: one observer and the thing to observe. So we are that observer. We are the Sakshi. We are the soul that observes everything. So start observing your thoughts. whatever the thoughts that are coming up, start becoming an observer, a spectator of your own thoughts. That is called mindfulness. Mindfulness is when we start looking whatever is coming up in our mind, separating ourselves from our mind and our intellect body. Now, what do we do when we look at these thoughts? What do we do then? When these thoughts are coming up, naturally, they are creating emotions also, because every thought will create emotions. It is already attached because that's how we had that experience. So those emotions are coming up also. So watch those emotions. Watch what are the feelings that are coming up attached to those emotions. How I'm feeling sad, crying. Separate them. So I would like to do this as a practice. At the end of the lecture, we will do a small practice where I would want you to look at your mind and separate these factors. So I will help you in separation. That way you can understand how to separate it and to release them. So we have to start watching. So basically, in the intellect body, as I said, you have to start doing the mindfulness practice. Start watching. Now the thoughts we have to evaluate. We should evaluate each thought from 3 points. First point is the truth. Whatever that I'm thinking, is it really true or is it just my imagination that I'm creating? Like imagination of the future worry, or is it even imagination that somebody told me, that my sister told me I don't like you, or maybe she hates me. This is just my imagination and now it's tormenting, the thought is tormenting me. So we have to evaluate every thought on the basis of its truth. Okay? And if it is not true, if you think it may not be true, even if there's a slight doubt, that means it's a garbage thought. So what do we do with the garbage thought? Throw it in the garbage. Second point with which we evaluate is its usefulness. Is the thought that my sister doesn't like me, is it any useful to me? Is it giving me any usefulness in thinking this negative thought and tormenting myself? And if there is no use for it, then again it's a garbage thought. So again we have to just throw it in the garbage. And third is kindness. Is it a kind thought? Is it a kindness not only towards me, but also to the other person that I'm thinking about? So if I'm thinking negative about my own sister, that means I'm putting her down also. I'm thinking that she's a bad person. She's thinking bad about me. So I'm not, neither I'm kind to her nor is kind to me, because it's tormenting me. So again, on the basis of the kindness. So even if on the basis of even 1 point, if it is a garbage thought, then it is a garbage thought. So we have to discard that garbage thought. So what do we do with the garbage? We will imagine that it is a garbage thought and we will pick it up and throw it out into the universe. That's what we do with the garbage. Just like we throw the garbage out of our homes, we will throw the garbage thought out of our mind. Okay? So this is what we do with the intellect body and the mental body. Now, in the second practice that I recommend is the pranayama. Now, pranayama is the breathing exercises. This is which is also known as emotional body. Emotions, as I told you, are connected to all our emotions are connected to our breath. So, if you feel that your emotions are very, like anger is coming up, now how do we control it? If you do the breathing exercises, instantly you can change the feeling of anger into calm. So doing the emotional breathing exercises when you're feeling low or you're feeling very angry, upset, sad, that will change your mood completely. In few seconds it can happen. So pranayama is the breathing exercises, and the most easy and the basic pranayama is either the deep breathing or the alom vilom, which is alternate nostril breathing. Okay, and I'll explain it again. Alternate nostril breathing is nothing but breathing in from the one nostril, closing it other nostril with the thumb, breathing in from one nostril, and then closing it with the finger, breathing out from the same nostril which is closed. Then again breathing in from this nostril now, hold, breathing out. Breathing in from the right, close the right nostril with the thumb, breathe in from the left, hold, breathe out from the right. Now breathe in from the right, hold, breathe out from the left. Breathe in from the left, hold, breathe out from the right. So this again, breathe in from the right, hold, breathe out from the left. So basically wherever you breathe out, that's where you breathe in also. And this is called alom vilom or alternate nostril breathing. So doing just this exercise for 5 minutes can instantly calm you down and change your mood and change your thoughts. Okay, so this is the second practice that I recommend. Then again, third is the meditation. What does the meditation do? What is meditation? Meditation is again made of 2 words, mind, attention. So wherever you put your mind's attention, you draw energy from that. So if you're going to connect your mind to something positive, something higher energy, vibrational frequency, like God's figure or God's name, or whatever you believe in, or something that is pleasant that has happened in your life, then you will automatically be drawn to that energy. So meditation, especially to the light, brings you immediate healing. Okay, so meditation, that's what we will be doing after this lecture. I will take you into the meditation and you will feel the difference. So third practice that, as I said, is meditation. So the healing has to happen. So as I said, in order for us, third aspect of healing is, of course, again as I said, service. Service to others and service to yourself. What is service to ourselves? Our aim is to learn how to love and go to the light. So love and light is our aim, or light and love, either way. So love and light is our aim. So that means that is what our service should be, to spread the love and to seek, go to the light. Now another thing is that when we give service to the others, when we do things for the others, it brings joys, if you have noticed it. Why is it? Why it brings joys to us when we are doing something unselfishly for the others? Because now when we connect, do something for the others, automatically the pleasure that they are enjoying, automatically that energy flows into us also. And we learn how to love, we expand our love, compassion, joy, and giving aspect. So service is very important. Besides that, as I said, from the physical point of view, if you look at the healing, you can go for walks, you can do everything that will give you pleasure. Going for the movies, comedy, laughter, yoga, anything that will help you to socializing with your friends. Especially if you have a friend or somebody who's going through depression, don't ever leave them alone. Try to keep them occupied. Involve them with the service, or maybe even a job, career, hobbies. You can create a hobby, painting, dancing, music is a big healer. So all this is from the physical point of view. Emotional body, as I told you, pranayama, breathing exercises, definitely help to control your emotions. And then meditation for mind and intellect body. cleansing of your intellect body, and your mind will also come in control. It will become quiet. So that chattering in your mind will stop with the meditation, and you will be able to raise your vibrational frequency. So these are and then another exercise that I want to give to raise your consciousness is that in Know Thyself, it is very, I want to give you one exercise. That first is understand for your own self, if you want to learn how to grow spiritually, then the first aspect is firstly to understand that there is only one energy, and we are part of that energy, and we are that energy basically. So whether the candle fire is a small form of the same big bush fire, or you could say whether it's sun or sun rays, it is the same thing. Whether it's the ocean or the waves in the ocean, it is the same thing, only the size differs. So we are that, in that way we are the same energy, but you could say in a smaller form. And that too, because we are connected ourselves to this form, that is why we feel that we are limited. But otherwise, without any of these bodies, we are as unlimited as the energy. We are a part of that energy. We are that energy basically. So if you look, as I said, we have to cleanse ourselves through meditation, and the practice that I was giving you in order to raise your spirituality is first to know yourself. Keep reminding yourself that you are that Satchitanand. You are the soul, the spirit, not the body and the mind. Remind yourself. Second is seek love and give love. So whatever you give, that's what will come back. So try to start giving out love instead of hatred and other emotions that are bothering you. Forgiveness, acceptance, gratitude, and love are very important factors for our spiritual growth. So try to give out as much love, and the more you give, the more will come back. Whatever you give, tenfold it comes back. So whether it's hatred or whether it's love, choice is ours, because we have been given free will, and that is why we are in this mess, because with the free will we tend to go towards negative rather than positive. But now we have to start watching what we are thinking, what we are creating in our mind, how many layers are we creating in our mind, and how it's affecting us. Because it's not just affecting us in mind, it is affecting us at all the 5 bodies, down to the physical body in the form of disease. That is how we create diseases. So we have to start healing basically. So the first, for the spiritual growth, the first practice is to remind yourself that you are that one energy, part of the universal energy. Secondly, you are the spirit. Secondly, give love and seek love. The more you give, the more you get. Third, look in the mirror every morning and see the creator, that energy who has created this universe, and say gratitude, say thank you to it. So don't look at when you look yourself in the mirror, don't look at the body. Look at the creator within you, or the God within you, or you could say that energy within you. That is one practice I want you to create. And the fourth is look at the creation, and don't see just trees and animals and plants and water and stone and mountains. Look at that energy behind that, everything that has created all this, and say gratitude, say thank you to that for creating such a beautiful creation for you to enjoy. So start doing these 4 practices every day, and you will see that how much spiritual growth will happen within you in a short span of time, and you will come out of this depression in no time. Because now, instead of focusing in the past or worrying about the future. You are starting to live in the present. And at the present, all you can see is that creation full of that energy, that body, your body, full of creation, full of that energy, full of the God. And knowing yourself as that creation, that God, that energy. And then light and love. Love and light. That is our aim. The more love we give, the more light we go into the light. Because God is nothing. The first manifestation of God's energy is light in this universe. So the more love we give, the more love we create within ourselves, compassion, joy, everything will grow within us. The more we will be going towards the light. More our frequencies will rise, and the more happier, joyful we will start becoming. And automatically you will come out of any kind of a depression. So depression is nothing but our own creation. We have a choice to either go and get out of it, or we have a choice to go deeper into depression and then. But remember one thing, suicide is not an option at all. Ever. No matter how depressed you are, suicide is never an option. Remember that thing. Why? Why suicide is not an option? Because some people do that. Now what happens at the time of suicide? You are very depressed, in a most lowest form of energy. Mental state, is the worst state, right? You're the saddest, the low, the most, you could say, worst of yourself in depression. And then you commit suicide. Now what happens in the suicide? Your conscious mind is gone. Now whatever stage you were while leaving the body, when the spirit leaves the body, at whatever stage, whatever form, or the thoughts, or the state of mind it was, that state of mind expands thousandfold. Thousandfold it becomes bigger. So if you were very sad, very depressed, very angry, or very anxious, and you wanted to get out of that, so for that you killed your physical body and you got out, and now what happened? The same feeling of sadness has expanded 1,000 times more. So have you got freedom from this depression, or did it become 1,000 times worse? So it becomes 1,000 times more, because now the conscious faculties, conscious mind that gave you the choice of coming out of, to be able to come out of that depression is gone. So now your intellect body is expanded to 1,000 times bigger. So now instead of becoming happier the way you thought, you are becoming more depressed, or more angry, or more in a worse state. And that is what we call as hell. So basically you go into hell because you chose to finish off the physical body, and then you chose to break the commitment of living in the body for a certain period of time. You chose to break that commitment, and then that gives you another kind of a span of time period that you have to finish up without the body, and that is very difficult. So suicide is never an option for any kind of, no matter how bad you are, what kind of a suffering you're going through, no matter what. The reason why the suffering came is, as I said, to give you a lesson for your learning and for your growth and to make you stronger. It's a challenge that you have to learn to overcome and to get out of it and to grow from it. So running away from the challenge will not make you stronger. In fact, it will make you weaker and more depressed. But going through that challenge and winning it will make you stronger, and also will give you a lesson. And you might be able to get rid of that lesson. Once you learn a lesson, once you've gone through the grade first, do you ever have to go back to the grade first when you are in the grade fifth? Never, because you know you've already learned the lesson what I was taught in the grade first. So you don't have to go backwards. So once you've learned that lesson, it will be done forever. It will be imprinted again in your memory, in your mind, and in your intellect body. So you will never go down again. You will never make the same mistake. And as I said, there are no mistakes, there are no failures, no successes. Everything is just experiences to learn and grow from. So this is all about depression, and I told you how to get out of it. And also I want to do a small practice. If you're ready, you can just close your eyes for a few minutes. Let's close the eyes. Sit straight, close your eyes. Now think, look in your mind, start looking in your mind, what's happening. Look at the thoughts that are coming up in your mind. See the emotions that are associated with that thought. See what are the emotions coming up. Is there a fear? Is there a jealousy? Is there anger? Guilt? What is the emotion that is connected to that thought that is coming up? Recognize it. Now see the feelings associated with it. Is it sadness, rejection, loneliness? Feeling why is happening to me? What kind of a feeling is it that's coming up associated with that emotion? Again, recognize that feeling. Now separate your thought from the emotions. Put your thought in the center of your mind or heart. Let's put it in your heart. Pick up that thought and put it in your heart, in the middle. Now pick up your emotions and put it to the right side of your heart, right side of your thoughts. Pick up all the emotions that you were feeling onto the right. And all the feelings that you are experiencing, put them on the left side of your heart. So now you have separated your thoughts from the emotions and the feelings. You can clearly see which is the thought that's coming up, what kind of an emotion is creating, and what are the feelings that are being created out of those emotions. Now watch your thought. Is it a thought to be kept, or is it a garbage thought? Naturally, if a thought is tormenting you, is a negative thought, depressed impressions, then you don't want this thought. It is a garbage thought. Evaluate it from the point of truth, usefulness, and kindness. Being a garbage thought, what do? Pick it up. Imagine you have a dustpan and a brush. You picked up the thought and you threw it out into the universe. Now look at the emotions. Anger, fear, jealousy, guilt. Again, are these pleasant emotions that you want to keep, or are they garbage? Again, pick them up, throw it out into the universe. And same way, go into the feeling sections. Pick up your dejection, sadness, loneliness. Pick it up and throw it out into the universe. Now imagine a big white light coming down from the sky and entering into your heart, Healing your heart, your emotions, your feelings, filling them up with joy, love, peace, gratitude. See the light, your heart filled with white light, full of gratitude and love and compassion. And see that light going out from you, from your heart, to the whole universe, spreading that light into the entire universe, to all your family, friends, especially to that person who was creating that thought, who was instrumental in creating that thought. Give that light to that person. Say thank you to the white light. Thank you for coming to heal me and fill me up with this bliss and peace. Thank you very much. Slowly open your eyes. How do you feel? Feel better? So I want you to do this practice every time you have a thought tormenting you and bothering you. Please do this practice for within a few minutes you will start feeling better. Now I would like you to open your mics and ask me any questions, anything, any comments that you have, and then we will be doing the meditation after this. Please. Thank you very much.